Hey everybody, it's Brandon, the Weekend Cruiser, where I go on weekend cruises and short cruises all the time. But right now, I'm on a 7-night voyage, which is different for me, here on the MSC Grandiosa. And by spending 7 nights with MSC, I'm noticing a few things where they're really starting to nickel and dime us a little bit more. And so it has me asking the question, gosh, is MSC changing its business model to be more like Frontier Airlines, Spirit Airlines, or even Ryanair over in Europe, where they are ultra cost carrier? And so I wanted to go through and share with you why I'm thinking this, but more importantly, why I don't hate it. So to start us out, you've probably often heard on my channel when I do some of these theoretical kind of videos where I compare the cruise industry to the airline industry. And I think that the cruise industry normally follows the airline industry. They're just really similar to me, and I see a lot of overlap in how they do business. What the airlines have done that we have not yet seen in the cruise industry is the rise of the ultra low cost carriers. So you've got Spirit, Frontier, Ryanair. Those are all people that I think of where they're going to give you a base experience. They're going to get you from point A to point B, but it's not going to come with all the perks that you may get on a mass market airline, such as American, Air France, United, things like that. So when I look at the cruise industry, I go, gosh, like we've got the mass market. We've even got, luxury. So they definitely have gotten the first class route. What we haven't seen come through on the cruise industry side is the rise of an ultra low cost or even a low cost carrier or cruise line to kind of take all those people to still give us a good experience, but for those of us that don't need all the bells and whistles. So with that, there's two main things that I've seen here on the MSC Grandiosa that has really clued me into, hey, this might be the strategy that MSC is going to take. The first is we went to Ocean Key, the MSC Marine Reserve, which I absolutely love, and I started looking around. I shouldn't say that. So before I even got there, I noticed online when I was, checking out all the shore excursions, the internet packages, that you could rent a chair. And I didn't really think anything of it because they've always been complimentary at Ocean Key. When I got there, though, I looked around and said, gosh, there aren't any chairs around. Like, there is nowhere for me to sit. I guess that they really have moved forward with, hey, if you want somewhere to sit on the beach, you need to rent a chair. And so everybody asks how much they're going for. You can get a set of two of them for $32. Not terribly expensive, but it is another charge. A beach chair, in my opinion, if you take me to your private island, your private resort, I just kind of feel like a chair should be a necessity, that is something that would be there. But in this case, they're saying, no, we're going to charge you for that. So you can rent it, you can sit on the beach, you can stay on the ship. They do have some free outer Rondex chairs over by the Lighthouse Beach, but those are in very limited numbers and clearly high demand. So don't bank on those. If you want a chair, get a chair. But this is one of the things that, I thought a chair was a necessity until I got to Ocean Key and learned that, oh, you don't actually need a chair. You can clearly sit on the beach or you can pay money to rent something. The second thing that I noticed, especially here on board the MSC Grandiosa, and I think this is going to be more indigenous to the Meraviglia class, but I wouldn't be surprised if MSC takes it to others, is that they charge you now for one of their production shows. Production shows have always been included in cruise lines. They always brag about you get all your food, you get all your entertainment. It is as included as they can come. But in this case, you're still going to have some of the complimentary theater shows, large scale shows that you can do, but you're also now going to have the Carousel Theater in the aft section of the ship here, which partners with Circus Olay at Sea to bring you more of the acrobats, contortionists, jugglers, and really strong music in a more intimate environment. And this is something that, I've not seen on other cruise lines where they have charged for a show that is normally given away for free in the main theater. If you go on a C-class ship, for instance, where they don't have the carousel bar and lounge area, you're going to see that these performances are kind of done just in the normal complimentary show. But on this ship, they've broken it out so you now have to pay for it. Other cruise lines have done this through mystery dinners, escape rooms, things that really do feel like an extra thing. But this is honestly just another theater show that they're now charging for. Now, let's do the fun part on why I don't hate that they're now charging for things that I used to think were a necessity. And so the first thing that I'll say is MSC has long been my go-to cruise line for value and for savings. I can get out here. I'm now in a balcony cabin in Grandiosa for $900. And so that is just me by myself on a 7-night sailing for $900, which is insane. I can still also book their weekends consistently for $400 to $450, if not cheaper sometimes, if I'm paying attention. And so they've long been just the get me on board kind of situation. And when I'm paying those kind of low prices, I don't mind being nickeled and dimed a little bit because I saved so much money by making the decision to come here that is actually working out. So if there's something I want to do, like, sure, I'll pay for it. I also have come to recognize one of the reasons I don't love the large ships that are out there is because they're not built for me. I do not want to do 90% of what's on these ships. And some of that's already, especially restaurants and things of that nature. But I definitely don't necessarily need a sports complex. I don't need a flow rider. I don't need putt-putt. I don't need all sorts of stuff. Childcare. There's all these things that you're paying for on ships that I don't necessarily need. And, you know, I'm fine saying, okay, just get me on board. Give me the low-cost a la carte option. Like, going on board is a low amount. If you then want to do these other things, you need to pay a little bit more. And I think that that's actually a really good solution for a lot of us budget travelers to have that a la carte kind of experience, and I don't hate it. So for me, it's still gonna make it really affordable and cheap. Even if I wind up buying certain things when I come on board, I'm still only paying $900 for this cabin. Like, I've still saved so much money that I feel like I can do that. And so I'm not nickel and diming myself, even though MSC Cruise Lines may be doing that. The trade-off that I want people to understand as well is by now charging for these things, it should be a better experience that when you pay for it, you should get a better experience. You'll have less people, not as many crowds. You might actually be able to find a chair for a change, and you're gonna have a more intimate theater experience that's gonna be top-notch from a top-notch company. And so for all these reasons, I'm kind of interested to see MSC Cruises, where are you gonna take this? If you do want to go the a la carte model, I am here for it. I know that there are more people that are really interested in just coming on sailings. They don't necessarily need all those bells and whistles either. So I'm going to really be monitoring this, seeing what else might you want to charge for that we think are necessities that you go, actually, that's something we might can put a price tag on. So, you know, as long as we keep it mindful and you don't go over the top with everything, I think we'll still be in really good shape if you keep your prices low. If you start raising your prices, MSC, and you're the same as everybody else where they don't quite take this level of nickel and dime. Look, all cruise lines do it. But if you can stay competitive with a low price and then charge for some of these add-ons, I think you're going to find a really neat niche within the cruise industry. All right, so with that being said, everybody, let me know your thoughts. Number one, are you a fan of ultra low-cost models, Light Frontier, Spirit, Ryanair? Do you think that can translate into the cruise industry? I am very interested to see where this goes. I'm actually really looking forward to it, actually, to just have a different option, a different model, and see if it can be successful. All right, everybody, this is Brandon, the Weekend Cruiser. I'm going to see you on a Weekend Cruise soon.